Hello, hello. But am I? Oh, hello. Can you hear me? Okay, good. Well, I have no idea what's going on. I installed. I was looking into this new streaming setup. Trying to get it proper with stream elements and all that. And now I'm looking at YouTube Studio, and it's just telling me that it's still waiting for the stream to start. So I got confused. So I am. I'm live right now. Okay, that's good to hear at least. Yeah. Do you see the stream starting soon page? Like what I've done with it? Yeah. Okay, I have no idea how much of a delay there is, but so welcome to Astral Mushroom. This is the stream starting soon page, and yeah, I basically took a template and I've completely redrawn the whole thing. Can you see it? Okay, you can see it, hopefully. Yeah, I'm not gonna wait for a whole timer. Thank you. I'm not gonna wait for a whole timer, but I will actually hold up. Can I just find this? I'm just like looking to see if I can find it in my browser because it'd be cool to show you what the original thing was. Okay, here we go. Okay, I'm just gonna hope that I can just switch tabs without anything breaking. So here we go. Switching to the full screen recording. I've taken almost nothing from the overlay. Okay, so this is what the actual thing looked like. This is what the original looked like. Because I just took an overlay and I was just like, okay, I will take this team, I will use this overlay, and I basically was like, okay, this is the starting point, and then you saw what it looks like now. I just completely redid the background. I just kept the general idea of the colors, but other than that, I've pretty much changed everything. And for the overlay was basically there's a whole bunch of overlay and stuff, and yeah, obviously it's the best part. That's why I picked a team. Everything else is like kind of gaming themed or something. This one, I've kind of kept this overlay. I've not changed anything. The one thing I've done is I've basically just removed a whole bunch, almost everything I've removed. If you do, yeah, if you do anything that begets a notification, I think it'll just give a default notification because I'm not expecting anyone to actually do anything. So yeah, it's just gonna give the default notifications for the team. I'll eventually go and change all that, but for right now, I'm not expecting anything. So yeah, welcome to this mess of a page. I am going to run you through it. Well, since you already know it. Uh, so to anyone new who's happening to watch, because I do have no idea where to go to look for how many viewers I have right now. I imagine I only have one viewer, and I do not know how to check if I have any more than that or not. Because apparently I can't look it up on YouTube, and Streamlabs is not giving me any information. So I am just going to guess that I have a number of viewers, possibly just one. So let me first explain who this is. This is Tia. Tia Blackwill, if I'm remembering the name right. She's a character I designed for one of my friends. Well, this guy here in chat ages ago. Yeah. Sorry for not giving you a mess of a spreadsheet. I mean, let's just none of it was expected. So Tia just was like, I think almost 2 years ago. I drew the first iteration of Tia, and over the course of basically a few D&D campaigns, she's just kept on growing and growing. So originally, where she started off as a basically young teenage Goliath. You know, a magical girl essentially, which means a warlock. It's basically where she started off. Yep, Tia Blackwell. I said that correctly. There seems to be a bit of a delay in chat. I'm not entirely sure what that delay is. Uh, Maybe I should have gone in and changed all those settings properly, but I honestly did not expect to see anyone actually posting in the chat. Thanks for being here, man. So, next stage. This is uh, not as important an arc. Basically, a costume party, an undercover, a costume party. Or when Tia started her journey to becoming a hero. Now, here's the thing. Specifically, I believe she's a warlock with the genie patron. If I'm correct, if I'm remembering correctly. Hmm? It's been so long since I looked at what all the warlock abilities. So because of the genie patron, she's got multiple forms, I believe. Correct? Okay, this kind of killing me. I don't know how far delay is between you and me. I'm sure I'll figure it out. Yep, the genie warlock. He did explain it. So she's got multiple forms. First off, we got here her elemental form. Like basically, after I drew the first one, I started just kind of experimenting whenever it comes to tea. I just always wanting to draw her in a different style. So for her elemental form, I got a lot of inspiration from Shanti. And as you can see, like I tried this whole no line art style. It just almost sort of like a painting. I think it came out pretty well overall. It could be better, but this is the best I could do at the time. We've also got her in a little chibi form. I think that's adorable. Now, just a reminder, she is a Goliath. So you see this what looks like a little girl or whatnot. She is like nearly 7 foot tall. Is that right? She's pretty darn close to 7 foot tall, if not 7 foot tall, because she is a Goliath. You know, she might not be a full adult yet, but she is definitely bigger than any normal adult. And yeah, so in this chibi form, we have her and and basically one of her best friend. Essentially, that's what I'd call her. Call him Jormunder. Oh yeah, I just got confirmation. 7 foot 4 inches. Yeah, that's a giant. A giant child. So yeah, so she in this what you're looking at here, right? This is her being 7 foot 2 inches. And so you can only imagine how big this snake is. And that snake is genuinely that big. So Jormunder, uh, hopefully Patrick can, give the actual spelling. The same spelling as that ancient snake in I have Jormungandr. Jormungandr. Yeah, Jormungandr. Thank you for giving me the pronunciation as well. So yeah, what started off as a staff of the adder eventually became like an actual fully sentient monster. Well, snake. So I'm gonna speed through the next ones, but eventually Tia became uh, a guard captain of the guard. Move forward. After she basically over the course of like several months, a lot of things happened, and one fateful day, she lost her trusted companion, Jorm. So her next form, okay, Monster Time, was a result of that. Just pure rage and feral instincts. So for this one, I decided to go with a more of a, you know what? I'm like, let's just go stereotypical evil look, right? I thought that'd be pretty fun. So I eventually was like working on it, and I decided, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna do the line art, just the line art, and I'm just gonna like heavily focus on that. So then it's like, yes, here we go. This is like a, like I went with the classic black and white monster because I thought that'd be pretty nice, pretty terrifying. Bone wings because she can fly, sort of. Still ice because she is ice attributed. She's not on fire so much as there's black smoke wisping off of her. And this is the staff the adder, which Jormungandr originally was, and he returned to after his death. And now there's this after this, basically she learned to reel herself in, and she essentially just ascended beyond, just the hatred. She unlocked her, what was this? Her third form. Honestly, I can't remember what it was called, but I just keep calling the Valkyrie form. And hell yeah. So I kept the wings, okay, because she can fly. So I was like, okay, let's give her proper wings. Like, let's go full Valkyrie aesthetic, because that's what was described to me, and that's what I went with. Genie trick. Okay. So yeah, Patrick is, helpfully given us the names of each of these forms. The first one is Genie Trigger. The second one is Monster Trigger, and the last one, Valkyrie Time. So yeah, at least I got the last one's name right. So yeah, I was now Tia's journey is coming pretty close to an end, especially with the campaign she's in has almost finished, but there's still time for one more form, and that's what today we're going to be trying to design. So this one last form is basically supposed to be like a combination of all these three forms. Okay, I'm calling it the final form. Whatever the actual name is, I'm not 100% certain. But uh, I will say this, in this channel, the second video ever actually recorded was of me drawing out Tia's monster form. And that video, sadly, I only recorded my audio, which was entirely useless because, if I recorded, I should have at least recorded the video. In a later video, you know, I ended up recording only the video, which, was painful, but at least I could voice over that. So here we have the progress I made before. So this can't be used in its entirety, obviously. Like, it's just a fairly vague. It's fairly vague so far. Like, it's got the rough details, but the proportions are wrong and everything. So what I'm gonna do is, instead of just trying to adjust this to make it work, right? I'm gonna follow this. I'm gonna just duplicate this border really quick. I'm gonna follow this, whatever I drew here, and explain it to you. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to try and basically draw her better. So first, let me explain to you what I'm going with here. Now, for her wings, I decided to make it, oh yeah, Genie Trigger Ascension Time. Still workshopping, but that's a great name. Ascension Time, I love that. Genie Trigger might be a bit of a, iffy, just tying it so closely to the first form, but Ascension Time, I love that name. So for her wings, what I decided is I'm gonna go with a combination of Monster Time and Valkyrie Time, okay? So she still got the bones of the Monster Time, but it's actually surrounded with the Valkyrie Time feathers, okay? However, I am making it a bit more translucent so you can actually see both through it. I decided to make her hair a bit flowy, like smoky, like the Valkyrie, like the Monster Time. for her arms, okay, I decided that she's gonna be like fully armored, heavily armored, like Valkyrie time. Not even like Valkyrie time, even more so. We're basically pumping a lot more armor onto her. That's basically the only bit of her that's gonna be exposed is her face. Hmm? We might even make some adjustments to that, but yeah, for the most part, she's covered entirely in armor this time around. We got rid of the skirt that's basically been for most of what most of her forms, her usual outfit. Monster time, Valkyrie time, I removed the skirt. I'm just like here, just full armor. Okay. I'm trying to add in also elements of, the elemental form, the genie trigger, by, as you can see here, right? All of this. So basically, her arms are going to be covered with ice, and there's basically it's going to be like pouring out, like wherever the gauntlet slash boots or whatnot would end. It's basically like here's just a lot of elemental essence just poking out of it, and I thought that'd look pretty good. So I do like this pose. It feels pretty powerful. It's really close to the Valkyrie time pose, and I feel and well, I guess there's a bit of the monster time pose in it too. If you look at it all, it's all vaguely like similar. It's more like that's just kind of how she goes. Like everything's slightly different. But yeah, my idea here is I'm gonna follow these lines I drew out here. Okay, so let's start. First step, base. We're gonna be drawing. We're gonna be drawing the face first. This is the head. I mean, lines, shoulders. Okay. Now expand out here. The torso, upper torso at least. They'll go inwards, branch out, and roughly here would be like the crotch or something. So remember to mark it all out. This is the very first one you do, okay? The very first rough you draw. It it's kind of like as long as everything's roughly in place, it should work. But yeah, I will be making some changes as I see fit, just to make sure that it looks right. Okay. One of the main things is like it's always a bit difficult to draw Tia, and because every time I just feel like I want to do something different. I just can't be satisfied just drawing the same, drawing her the same way over and over again. Which is why like most of what you see here is all like different, different, different. This one is completely different from all the others because I actually drew this completely in vector, and then I realized that a lot of things just didn't seem right, so I had to just, I added the outlines and vectors and I started doing in like actual manual shading and everything. The one that came out the best is, well, surprisingly, the last one I drew, because obviously I hope it would be the best. It is the last one I drew. So yeah, here we go. Elbow, arm, hand, hip. Drawing the line over here. Knee. Genie Trigger is basically like the final form, but the time forms are basically like Luffy's gears in terms of naming them, the variants. Okay. F- I think in One Piece I only know about Gear 1 and Gear 2 maybe, and then that's about it. I've I've not been keeping up with One Piece for a very long time. Yeah, just now I'm just doing a bit of rounding out. Hmm. So here's the basic body, and let's see. This one will rise up. Rise over here. Here's the hand. Here's the thumb, and let's add in the hammer. Do you think I should do anything special with the hammer? Because I feel like the hammer doesn't really change a whole lot. Just maybe get some very slight uh changes depending on like what exactly we're doing, right? Like the fonts only accentuate the hammer a little bit. It doesn't really like change much about it. Okay, so let's just continue on. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Okay. Oh yeah, that reminds me. Should I put some music? No, maybe not. I think this will work for right now, but maybe in the next stream I'll add some music in also. As long as I just keep talking, everything should be perfectly fine. Hopefully, you can put your own music on in the background. That way it doesn't matter if you put on copyrighted music. I'll Everything will still be a-okay. It'll probably even be better than what I could find. So yeah, just now once you get like I have the general pose over there already, but you always got to do just a few corrections. Like say for example over here, this is like way too much. This this hip is way too much. She's not an Amazonian. Huh? She's a Goliath. Luffy is gears 2, 3, 4, Tank Man, Snake Man, final gear form. Uh-huh. Oh, that's pretty cool. I mean, spoilers, bro. Yeah. My knowledge on One Piece is that it's an amazing show that just has way too many episodes for me to catch up. Specifically, where I stopped watching was, I believe, the mermaid, the mermaid arc. Yes, I think I stopped because that's roughly like I caught up to the sub. I think back then. Yeah, so it was the mermaid arc. Where they not the first one with Arlong, the one in the actual mermaid land. That's probably where I start. That's where I stopped watching. Where there's that weird guy who, he was like, "Oh, I touched someone. Now I've locked on." You know, that weird creep, right? That's about roughly where I stopped watching. Don't worry, man. It's fine. Huh? Who's gonna? No one's gonna watch this anyway. They're not gonna be worried about spoilers too much. But yeah, you mark a spoiler next time or something. Just because I'm going to read it out without thinking about it, probably. Because I gotta focus on drawing this actual thing as well. So yeah, roughly around that is where I stopped. It was pretty cool. But yeah, I caught up or something. I was binging until that point, and then I couldn't actually handle waiting, and so I just kind of got bored and just stopped watching, just because of how long I had to wait for each individual, for each episode to come out. No, not Fisherman Island. Yeah, it was in a new world. It was, I think, yeah, wasn't it like the first arc after the the time jump? And I'm just here sitting here talking about anime with you. Talking about anime I didn't watch enough of. I've heard so many good things about One Piece. One day I'll watch it again. Like this Yamato character, I heard they're pretty cool. They look awesome. I have no context. I have no idea for what on earth they are. No context whatsoever. All I know is they're possibly big. They might not be. They might be big. They might not be big. Huh? I don't know. I've seen art where they're roughly about people size, and I've seen art where they're giants. Da-da-da, da-da. So tell me more about. So tell me more. So why don't you write in the chat, right? So because you're right here, right? Okay. I'm gonna correct myself. I'm gonna collect myself as well. So since you're here in the chat, and it is your character we're talking about, why don't you tell us something about it? You know, like you've told me a lot about Tia, but it's like if I'm gonna talk about her, I wouldn't know where to start. There's just so much to get through, and I just like, ooh, she's been like you've been playing her for like years at this point. Like we've met about like what was it? 2 years ago? Maybe a bit longer at this point? Yeah. Anything you want to talk about? Because otherwise, I'm just gonna start talking about the art process going on over here. Yeah. We're just like having a bit of a banter, a bit of a back and forth. So yeah, I can only really talk about like the art process right now because there's just so much to Tia's story. Okay, so you can just literally talk about anything you want about her because there's just so much content. 3 years. Oh, wow, man, how time flies. But yeah, reduce the thickness. Yes, I've got. Um. Okay, I'm just gonna open this up and see if there's any settings I can actually mess with really quick. I'm opening up Streamlabs. I'm seeing nothing. I don't think so. I look at the dashboard. There's nothing I can look at. That's unfortunate. It just says you have no stream activity. I don't even know if I'm online and how you're looking at me. Okay? I don't even know if you're looking at the right thing, which I assume you're looking at the right thing because you're reacting to it. I'm opening up my channel in YouTube Studio, which is open. All I'm seeing is this. I don't know if you can see it yet, but basically connecting the stream software to go live, and it just doesn't say anything it just doesn't say anything useful. It says 0 viewers, 0 likes. So, and it doesn't even have anything in the chat. So technically you don't exist right now. You're off the grid. You're in witness protection. It's like, no, 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 no. We cannot talk to you about that guy. So I'm gonna go into my own channel. I'm gonna go to my own channel and I'm gonna click on this. So yeah, as one technically. Oh god. Oh, I don't want to hear my own voice. So there is one person watching. You. No one else. I have no idea how long the delay is, and I don't know how to fix it if it is too long, but oh well. Thank you for being here. So yeah, so Patrick says that Tia's got a interesting life. Originally made for a magical schoolgirl one shot, she died in that one. It was a rough time. Yeah, it was a really rough time. I remember that. Hold up a second. Is my avatar? Oh my god. Oh my god, I didn't I clicked the button and I forgot to make my avatar visible. Oh, I'm a great content creator, guys. My second ever stream that is actually online. Ah. Yeah. So basically, what? Yeah. Okay. So yeah, the second time was yeah. So I'm gonna like you're talking about in the comments, and I'm gonna be basically paraphrasing essentially what you're saying. So from what I remember, okay, and that you've told me, like originally it was you started using Tia for a one shot. it was like just magical girl one shot, and so you're like, oh, you'd like a character. I don't remember the actual back and forth there, you know, but I believe I'd already made you a few. Just I'd drawn up a few of your NPCs at the time, and then we were talking about it. And I don't remember if I got interested in the idea or if you asked me. I probably got interested in the idea, and that's what happened. We can look at the Discord conversation at some point. But yeah, we looked into that and we're like, oh, that sounds like a good idea. And I think I started making the character and we made her. And it was pretty fun. But once we did make her, we ran into the issue that it was a fairly brutal session, if I remember correctly. Like, I'm not going to go into the details because I don't think we can talk about the details. But let's just say it was pretty dark. It was pretty dark, and I will say it was a magical girl. It's a magical girl themed D&D session where all the things you'd expect of a magical girl thing happened. Uh, all the dark depression and everything. The second one, you did say something about a Out of the Abyss module. I unfortunately cannot remember anything about that. I don't know why. I remember the magical girl thing a whole lot, but the Out of the Abyss module was just kind of struck from my memory. I guess maybe it was just that bad, or maybe it was, you know, not as memorable either. Or it's probably just that bad that I was like, oh nope, can't remember that. I was pretty happy when you got into a proper D&D session with Tia. Yeah, that stuff was pretty nice. I will have to go and look into exactly what this delay is once I finish streaming. I'm gonna have to look up like how on earth do I know what this delay is between you and me? Like, is it like, you know, is your chat the one being delayed for me? Are you like typing it out and it's just coming up later, or are you like writing it as soon as you hear me and I'm seeing it as soon as you type it, but you're hearing me like almost a minute later or something like that? No, almost. It can't be almost a minute later. I click streaming and then you suddenly popped up. So I'm not entirely sure what's up. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. For Out of the Abyss, I do vaguely remember that one of the players was not on the party side. That that really sucks when that happens. Like when one player is like actually, like Among Us is fun except when it becomes like a full-on D&D game where you're all like thoroughly invested in your character, and then it becomes it's oh, the guy who comes, he's like, well, it turns out I was the imposter and it's time for me to backstab everyone, and that just sucks because that means that you're being backstabbed. uh, Not easy. Yeah, so you're typing as soon as you hear me, which just means that it's delayed by an amount of time, or uh, yeah, basically there's a delay somewhere. I don't know where. And the problem is because I don't know how much of a delay there is, then that's where the confusion's happening. If I knew that's like, oh, there is a half a minute delay or something like that, right? Then I'd understand. It would make sense to me that okay, there's this bit of a delay. I know what the delay is. That's fine. But the issue is I don't actually know if it's delayed or not. It could just entirely be that I'm just how I am. I'm just being paranoid. I'm being a little sus. No, no, that's a bad thing. That's not the right word to say. That's not the right word to say at all. Yeah, sorry. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, so we're making some progress here. Like compared to last time, think I'm trying to be a little more consistent about the body shape and stuff. I'm going to probably have to do a bit more reworks, but at least she's not looking like this anymore. This looking a lot more reasonable. Maybe the legs are a bit too long, probably, but she is 7'2", so I guess it does make sense. I'm kind of thinking about it now, and I'm like getting the vague feeling like I'm drawing something out of like Black Clover. These legs, I'm gonna have to fix these legs a lot. That's just wrong. But at least up till, hold up, let me just move this a little bit. Let me just see if it can work. Up till here, I think is good. Up till here is good. I will have to correct the knee under the knees later, but that doesn't matter too much right now. Just getting a sip of water. Could be break. God, what did that sound like? Because the mic's right next to my mouth. The second campaign was when Tia truly became a character. Her background being the daughter of a chieftain, the mercenary leader. She looks up at her parents, the Minotaur uncle, and always wanting to go on adventures with him. Yeah, yeah, I remember. Like once you started, like honestly, it was only bad things happening to Tia. Sadly, like oh, the first two campaigns were just really awful for Tia. Nothing good happened to her. Like being betrayed. I think in both campaigns she was betrayed, wasn't she? Yeah, I vaguely remember that. In the first campaign, also one of the people was working for the dark side or something like that. So yeah, two campaigns of just misery porn, essentially, just being constantly betrayed, driven to essentially the worst mental places, and just when you started this campaign, oh, I still remember it was like it's just a lot better, you know. Yeah, sorry about the gulp. I otherwise I'd have to take off the headset and then drink water. But yeah, I you were a lot happier from this campaign on, although you were also quite quite worried in this campaign because there's a whole lot of, whenever the DM tried to do anything like, you know, thrilling, like suspenseful, what could happen? Is Tia okay? Who knows? You know, and I remember that you'd come to me and you're like, "Oh, super paranoid." Yeah, luckily it turned out to be pretty okay. Like even I remember like you were talking to me about how he was raising like the difficulty or something, right? He was making like he's trying to raise the difficulty of combat by introducing all of these rules. And well, Tia's still around and she's been handling herself pretty well apparently, huh? So apparently those rules did work out. So that was good to hear. Yeah. I'm glad it all worked out for you. Like Tia was not so much a character as just a person, like someone stuck in a horror movie essentially for the first two campaigns. And the second one, she became a lot more of a character. She had a backstory, she had family. We talked about it. I think I made like a rough sketch of Tia's uncle Dornick. Dornick. Hold up one second. Can I find this? D what was the name? I'm just trying to look at my files to see if I can find him. Your uncle. Dormick. I I am oh oh wait. I did not write your uncle's name. I did not I made the sketch, but I did not write his name down as what it should be. Oh, I called him Minotaur Boy. That is what I named him in the file. That's what the folder is called. What do I have in here? I have this. I have this. This Minotaur Boy right here. And then I've got a cleaner version of, just the face for a token. Because I believe you played him once in a one shot. No, yeah, if I remember correctly, you played as him temporarily when Tia was out of commission. Hmm? Yep, Minotaur is a very fun one. Yeah, he was fun to draw. I heard so many great stories about him. A Minotaur, the uncle to a Goliath, or rather, yeah, the Goliath, niece of the Minotaur. So I'm gonna open a new layer over here and then try to draw the hair separately, just because I'm not able to draw the hair clearly here because I'm just worried about overdrawing on all the stuff I've already drawn. So I'm gonna be messing around a little bit over here. Yeah. So, oh yeah, the Minotaur was used in some kind of My Hero Academy one shot. I do not remember anything about that, to be honest. I think that was a really long time ago, and it didn't really have any other things like to tie me to, any information about that world. I didn't have any reason. I didn't have anything to like really retain the memories. I heard about that, but I didn't hear too much about it. Like for Tia, that's just a long, continuous story, like a big active investment in me because she's basically as much my daughter as she is yours, my art daughter. But for Dorn, I'm bad with names. Dornick. For Dornick, it's more of a I am not 100% like aware of his adventure so much. I'm a bit more like vaguely aware of the time when he stepped in for Tia when he was looking for her or something like that. But other than that, I am a bit out of the loop. I'm sorry. Uh, I hope anyone watching this I hope anyone watching this afterwards, right, will I have any enjoyment out of it. But at the very least, I'm getting this drawing done. I've been wanting to get to clean this up for so long. And let's see. Da, da, da. So I'm gonna make a copy of her base. Okay. I'm going to start erasing a bit that's underneath her hair so we can see it more clearly. I'm going to adjust the crown a little bit, okay? Instead of upwards, I'm going to make it curve downwards. I say crown, it's the headband. The headband of the Valkyrie, okay? Make it curve downwards. Erase here also. And we've got Yeah, we're doing all right. I'm gonna blend it. I'm gonna like merge this down inside. Let's make a bit of adjustments to the face. Yeah, Dornick is her father's battle brother. Yes, yes. Not related by blood, but basically part of the family, part of the tribe. Oh, he taught Tia to fight. Oh yeah, I do remember that vaguely. Uh, yeah, I suppose who can teach a Goliath? Who can teach a Goliath other than a Minotaur? Just like child, you weak, fight stronger. And he's like, but I can't. Sure you can. And basically just crash her into the ground. And because it's a glide, that's basically the same as just like, like a twack on the head from the martial arts sensei. Oh, that's all fun stuff. Okay, this is hmm, the art's taking a bit longer than I thought, but okay, let me just double check. Like, okay, what I started with was there, where I'm at right now. So we're here. I'm gonna have to like look in like making this little bit of adjustments. Instead of looking down, let's look up. Okay, here eyes. the eyebrow, eyes, the eyebrow, and don't forget the markings. Markings are pretty important for Goliath. If they didn't, that does remind her father, Cashern, is a genie warlock as well. Basically, basically Superman type, who is also devoted to his tribe, whose dream is to unite the Goliath tribes. Yeah, that was pretty cool. There was a whole lot of drama behind the scenes about Tia's family, but let's maybe not get into that right now. That's probably it's better to talk about. It's better to actually just talk about that or just chat about it properly rather than me being the only one able to talk and you being like just typing in the Twitch chat. Sorry, YouTube chat. From what I vaguely remember, I think that it might be better to try streaming on Twitch at some point. But yeah, so I've got what have I got going on? So I think I might have to make some adjustments to the habit. I'll do that once I size her up. Okay, once I scale her up a bit, I'll make some much needed adjustments. But for the base one, at least, I think she's doing better than the original. Just because the original one is nice, but it's wrong. Body shape wise and stuff, it's not the same person. This one should be a lot closer. So I'm gonna make a copy of the whole thing, paste it, scale it up. Okay. I don't need to focus on showing anything underneath the knees because I don't think there's anything too important down there. Okay. So I'm just going to get rid of that. And now let's try adding a little bit more detailing. Should I made it bigger for more detailing to for that be space for more detailing? Nah, it's fine. It's fine. I'm good. So I'm adding in a few more lines over here to detail the armor a bit, especially for the arms. Over here also it's kind of similar, but there's also this bit of you know I'm not gonna say it's like bandaging. What I'm gonna do over here is I'm gonna try applying like this. You see, this right here is what's the word for it? It's the jar. It's the genie jar. As part of being a genie warlock, you need the genie jar. It's pretty important for a whole lot of things. I'm basically going to try applying that pattern to this little bandage esque thing up here because I think that might work. That might be pretty good, pretty interesting. You know, I do have to like try incorporating other things in here. What about the genie form can I bring in, honestly? It's not, I mean, the genie trigger form, not a whole lot, to be fair. Yeah, I mean, fair enough. So, yeah, immediately, I'm liking this a lot more. You know, the proportions make more sense. I might need to do a bit more adjustment, but the proportions make more sense at least. Yeah, the genie vessel. Thank you. Instead of the genie jar. The proportions make more sense. I'm liking that. I'll have to just add this bit of elemental power right here, filling out from underneath this gauntlet. Da-dun, da-dun, da. And let's see. A few more details here, kind of ice like. The hands, well, everything is looking all right. Well, obviously, the hammer is looking giant in comparison to the hand, which is not looking giant. So I'm going to reduce the hammer a little bit, and I'm going to increase her hand a little bit. Reduce the hammer, increase the hand, and that should be a lot better. So I think It's look the icy look. Kind of. Not really the icy look. It's more calm out of everything, right? So the first one was more like just happy, right? Just more or less like kind of naivety, being just being cheery, bubbly spirit. Second one, pure rage. Third one, I call it confidence. Like sort of confidence, but also battle spirit. You can kind of see that in that warlike look in her face. I think just looking down, smiling while wielding the hammer. This one, I think, should be a lot more calm, just calm. But I'm like still looking about like what else just needs to be adjusted in the body. It's a lot cleaner than the first one for sure. Should I have? She can still fly in his last form. Hmm. So she should have the wings. But how exact? So I'm gonna try doing the wings in the same way because I feel like that might work. But I'm gonna make a little bit of a twist on it, like the wings. I'm gonna try applying a little bit of that same ma- pattern, right? That's what I call it. The same pattern as I did on the genie vessel. Honestly, I don't know if it will work or not, but I might as well try. What have I got to lose? Time, just time. This stream's already, if anyone's going to get entertained out of the stream, they're probably going to get entertained regardless of whether or not I managed to get this, get this done properly or not on the first go around or not. They're not going to be entertained whether or not I can entertain them. That's going to be my thing. I'm not confident enough to be able to do that, but yeah, okay, hold up a second. Okay, no, I'm gonna just control Z all of that. Yeah, I for I tried making I meant to do that in a new layer. Yeah. So here we go. I'm in a new layer. I'm gonna start off with just doing the bones first. The bones part of the wing. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Da, 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 da. Okay. This should this should make more sense. And I'm going to on the same side here at the end of the wing. Another bump over here. End of this. What's going on? Okay, that's fine. So one more time. And then let's figure out like the exact details of the feathers. Da-da-da, da. Yep, this should be all right. Might need to rotate this a bit just to make it fit. No, just a bit lower. The downside of this form, it takes time to set up. I'll have to do double concentration checks for Valkyrie and Monster form since both are concentration. Well, I see. So it's a bit of homebrew, huh? Because, yeah, you can only concentrate on one thing at once. Like, there are some people who like are really chafe at homebrew, but yeah, I guess concentrating on like more than one thing at once is basically impossible. But if you just do a lot of homebrew stuff, I guess, you can kind of make it work if there are other things in the difficulty. After all, D&D is just for fun, right? It's not like you're competing or something. It doesn't matter if you follow some different rules from anyone else as long as, everyone at your table agreed with those rules. You did say something about the boss who you ran over last time in a hamster ball, having concentration on a whole bunch of things, and now not having them anymore after you got ran over by a raging uh, Goliath in a hamster ball. Oh, yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. Using something akin to Wish to make the form work. Yep. Hopefully that glug wasn't as audible. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I'm liking it. I'm gonna have to do a bit more detailing down here specifically. Uh, I'll just copy this, I suppose, because this looks great. Let's not copy 100%, but let's copy it pretty closely. So I'm scaling, I'm going, zooming out a bit just so I can see it. And I'm trying to follow it fairly closely. Da-da-da-ram. Okay, so now I feel like let's copy paste that just one more time as something I need to just double check. Just adding a few more details for the hair. Um, da-da, da-da, da. Yeah. So the story that's pretty amazing. So this guy, I don't know what he was, but this big boss apparently cast enfeeblement and put uh, Tia in a wall of force while she was in her monster time form. So enfeeblement basically brought her intelligence down to that of a monster, just a regular beast or something like that. I think it was like -4 modifier, which means about 1 or 2, something like that. And well, that was a hilarious thing which you did mention that basically you were like, hey, I'm in ball roll. I want to hit, run over. That did sound hilarious. Some of the stuff is I love things like that about D&D. Wish I played it more. Fortunately, only so much time you have. Da-da-da-da-da. Okay, and with this, the general idea, the roughs of Thea's new form are done with this. How long have I been streaming? I have no clear idea. Yeah, feeble mind. You've been. Yeah. Oh, you've not been enfeebled. Feeble minded and enfeebled are two different things. Yeah, I'm sorry. Can I look up to figure out how long have I been streaming? I'm. Hold up. Okay, I'm refreshing. I can't believe that there are two people actually watching this right now. I know one person who's watching this. I've been streaming 58 minutes. That's pretty that's pretty okay. If there's a second person in chat, hello to you. I hope that second person's not me because I looked it up and I was not looking at the actual thing, and also I'm signed in as myself, so I wouldn't count. So yeah, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to uh okay. I'm moving things around. I'm copying, I'm pasting, I'm merging layers, right? Delete this. Now I got this layer which I'm going to scale up only about this much maybe because I don't feel like I want to do this full sized one. Now make a new. I'm making a new folder, calling it outlines, and I'm gonna go in with a G pen. G pen is basically just a regular pen. So what I was doing up till now is I was using the darker pencil, which is just a rough brush, and this is in comparison to the rough brush. You can see this is the rough brush, and now here's the G pen, which you can see is immediately just a lot darker. Darker would be a word to say it. It's a lot more dense. Hmm? Sadly, I used limited wish in another combat encounter, and I have to roll 1d4 for how many long rests I need. I rolled 3. Oh yeah. Oh, that's unfortunate. You got 2 more long rests before you get your limited wishes back. What does limited wishing do? I really should look things up. It's been so long since I played D&D, and I've never played D&D in a high level. Actually, no, that's a lie. I played D&D in a high level specifically only for one shots. So I've not really looked into like what all you can do in D&D. Maybe I have. It's just been ages. Hmm? Like I'd love to look it up too, but I'm kind of like, I got to do the drawing. And I feel like if anyone stumble across this at some point, like maybe that second person who might or might not still be around, right? If they're watching this and they're like, "Hey, oh man, just do the drawing," you know, then maybe they're like, oh, they're pretty interested in seeing like what on earth is drawing going to look like when he's actually done, because the roughs look like really blurry. I can't really see it as much as I'd like to see it. And if I just actually open up a Google tab to Google, like, oh, what does this ability do in D&D? They're like, what does that have to do with you drawing? Uh, yeah. Man, warlocks are pretty fun, but at the same time, it's like, they're predicated on long rests, but I think they're being phased out. Is that right? Because you specifically told me about it, right? About how they're like changing a lot of abilities to, instead of just like on a short rest, you get so and so to, you get a limited number of times per long rest or something like that, right? You were talking about with specifically like Goliaths got their skin, their stone skin. It's a lesser form of wish. Yeah. It's a lesser form of wish, which allows me to use any spells from sixth level or lower. That's pretty good. As opposed to wish, which can be 8th level or lower. Yeah, I mean, sixth level spells are still pretty good, especially for a warlock. But yeah, sorry, I meant to say short rest. Warlocks get back their spells on short rest, but you did tell me that they seem to be making a move towards phasing out short rests, which make me wonder like how is that going to work, right? Because if they're going to phase out short rest, does that mean that you can only when you end the day you get all your resources back? Because if that's so, that's like a lot of, like, even bards get back all, like bards and fighters, they get a lot of the classes actually depend on short rests, like fighters get back action surge, bonus wind, everyone gets to use their hit die. If I remember correctly, does Pathfinder 2e have short rests? I would be surprised if they didn't. Like, I know I'm trying to, like, play around with that setting a bit, but I don't know why I haven't. I don't know why I just feel confused about this. It's been probably too long since I looked at the rules. I should look at the rules more. Pathfinder 2e has some really cool rules. But yeah, I'm straying off topic, but there's not really much I can talk about, like actual drawing wise, because you know I've kind of reached a stage which I usually don't show on videos. Because look, the fast thing to do is doing the roughs. Okay, once you do the roughs, you have a pretty good idea of what it's gonna look like, and that's kind of like the most. It's fast. It's dynamic. You can quickly change things around. You can look at it and you can be like, oh, hey, that's pretty cool, you know? And, it's the most interesting part of the drawing process to show someone. But then once you go beyond that to where I am right now in the line art stage, this what can you do? What can I show you? Like I'm doing line art. It's basically the roughs, but really slow now. I'm just adding more detail everywhere, making some small corrections wherever I made a mistake, and I'm kind of just stuck here doing this, which I'll probably stop halfway through just because this is going to take me so long to do. And, you know, already no one's going to be watching this live stream, and then you're going to be so no one's going to be watching this live stream, and then if anyone does stumble across it, they're going to see, like, for the first 1 hour, oh, I designed a character and did all this talking about the, what exactly, like, what I'm doing about the character, about stories with the character, and then it's like boom, I'm just all of a sudden spending like 2 hours just talking about nothing in particular while I'm just like drawing in the background, and not even like a lot of progress is being made. I can't do a lot of progress at once because line art is just such a slow step. Yeah, they gave Goliath's stone endurance uses equal the proficiency bonus, which is why the long rest. Oh yeah, yeah. Pathfinder 2e, I think it's a lot more balanced when it comes to the long rest because you don't heal everything in Pathfinder 2e, right? You only get a limited amount of healing. So it's basically you need to actually take multiple long rests. You can't just be like one long rest and I'm ready to go. I think you get back all of your spells, but no, you don't get fully healed. So because of that, if you're like in going to be like, on an expedition or something, or like in war or whatnot, right? You can't just long rest and everyone's fine. You need to long rest and you need to actively take care of, like, having a medic patch up everyone, you know, or rationing out your magical healing resources, all of that stuff. I like it. I like the system a lot more. It has more room to like RP the, being injured essentially. Like, oh, I'm wounded. Versus like in D&D, it's like, oh, oh no, I am brought down to 1 HP. I am so close to dying. And then it's like one nap later, 1 8-hour nap later, it's like, I'm perfectly fine. I'm at 100% HP. I have never been hurt in my life. Like, I know that it's like depending on the campaign and story, they could say like, oh, dismemberment, or that could be like exhaustion or stuff like that. But that's more like just, on an individual basis versus over, for Pathfinder. Yeah, I wouldn't entirely say realistic, but I'd say it's pretty fun. It's like, they actually allocate for, what might usually have to be like just, home rule stuff, right? They actually allocate for it in the rules. So instead of just saying, well, you're injured, you see this NPC, he's injured. He broke his arm. Versus like in D&D, it's like, come on, he broke his arm. Sleep it off for a day. It'll be fine. Unless it's like you have to go through all the RP stuff. They actually like build up excuses for why someone's injured. Versus in uh, Pathfinder Second Edition, when someone's hurt, right? It's like, well, he recovers this much HP per day, so he's gonna be injured until he's fully healed. And then you got the other stuff you can throw in as well, being like, yeah, but then he's also got XYZ or whatnot. But that you don't need to make up the rules for the most basic of, well, he can't recover instantly. So I'm just trying to figure out exactly how I'm gonna do this now. I'm making some changes and I just realized I didn't detail the neck bit enough. Now it's probably very similar to this, so I can probably just like ease in, left, right. Yeah. By the way, is it getting boring for you or what? Like, Do you think you want me to end this? You think it'd be better for me to end this right now, or just keep going on for a little bit longer until I have some more, uh, you know, Tia's details ironed out? I have seen people play Pathfinder Second Edition, and shonen battle manga is how a good way to describe it. And I would say it's got a lot of room for RP as well. Which is I guess shonen battle manga in a nutshell. RP to fight. Like I think they're both pretty great for RP, but I do understand like D&D has everything rationed out as like, well, you got your movement, okay? You can just take your movement, all at once, just space it out between the rest of your turn. You've got your action, your bonus action, your free action, your reaction, you know, your interaction, and all of that stuff. Wait, what does that sound? Okay, I just heard the sound of something get disconnected and I got worried for a second. I hope that, yeah, I'm just gonna have to hope that wasn't me. Oh well. But yeah, basically in D&D it's kind of like technically you've got a very set amount of like you can only do this one or two things or something like that, right? And if you want to mess around with more than that, it's kind of free. Versus in Pathfinder, you've got three actions, so you got your action economy, okay? And everything you do is kind of balanced with that action economy. And I think that's really cool. Yep, I know. You got your action economy, just three actions. Nothing else. You just got three actions. There's no such thing as a bonus action. You know, so it's just a matter of like, you want to move, use an action. Oh, what's that? You use an action to move, but you only use up half your movement speed? Well, too bad. You got to use another action because you came to a stop now to do something else. So use another action. So it's basically they want you to like space things out properly. Which I appreciate. I do like. It is fun. I just realized I didn't read your message earlier. Yeah, it's not boring for me. Thank you. I'm glad to hear that. I don't know. I just like talking, I guess. Which is strange because I don't like listening to the sound of my own voice, but I do like talking. I guess I like talking when it's like, the sound in my head. Because the sound in my head is completely different from the actual sound of my voice. When I listen to the sound of my voice on a recording or something, it's a lot less appealing to me. But, as long as it's in my head, I'm a lot happier about it. It just, you know, it's a lot more fitting. Move, attack, attack. Yeah. You could spend all three actions attacking, but, multi attack penalties and stuff like that. There are abilities though which were like, okay, you can attack twice without taking the penalty, or you can do this, you can do that, and that all works great. I love it so much. But it's also really modular, so modular you don't know what you're getting into. Like for D&D, okay, when you start getting into it, unless someone brings out something homebrewed, at a certain point you typically understand what exactly all the classes are capable of. Unless they like if they go super specific with like I'm gonna use this feat and that feat and everything like that, right? There are only like a limited number of ways every class can play out and the rules that apply to them. Okay, unless you homebrew something, it's not gonna be like that ridiculous. But then when it comes to like Pathfinder, when I was trying to make I have to use the app on my phone whenever I want to make NPCs for it. Just because I'm not going to be able to sit there and actually be like, okay, right, so you make Pathfinder by following all of these rules, and then here's this book and all of that stuff. I have to use an app just to try and make the process a lot more streamlined to me. Just I do not know all the details. Oh, yeah, yeah, I understand. So, so far, I think Tia's looking pretty good. How many viewers do I have right now? Is it still two, or is that one person decided that this is not for them? Hold up, I'm refreshing. There are still two people watching. I am thoroughly impressed. Who is that second person? Please tell me it's not me. Hello. Hello to whoever's watching. I'm glad you're sticking around and enjoying it. Unless this is me and it's just counting me from somewhere. I don't have it open. That would suck if I just have it open or something and I'm just talking to myself because that would be horrible. I mean, not so horrible. Whenever I record a video, that's just me talking to myself, isn't it? It would make me just an average YouTuber. Uh, I'll be honest. I like both Pathfinder, D&D 5e. I'm a fan of both, but Pathfinder I do think is just the superior system. However, it's also a matter of it's a superior system, but it comes with its own quirks. You can't just be like, well, Pathfinder's better than D&D because maybe it depends on what module, what way you're talking about it, right? In Pathfinder, there's like a lot more things you need to learn than in D&D. Like if you're just gonna be like, well, I'm gonna play Pathfinder now, and then you're gonna be like, all of the rules need to be there, right? And then you're going to be like, so what's this character able to do? Well, I am going to build a character who can, well, you're looking at the abilities, right? I'm going to make a character who specialized in like, okay, a shield, right? So I'm making a fighter who has a shield. She can throw the shield, and then maybe she'll just do a double attack with her sword, versus like, how do I mean, just, you never know what exactly to expect because even if you hear all of the things a character can do, there's just so much, so many options, right? I love it, but my brain is too small. I guess it's a matter of time. It's a matter of I'd love to like play an actual game with someone, but I don't have the time to do that. In my session, I only have time for in my in my schedule. I only have time for one game. Just one game a month, a week, right? And so I can only just handle that. You know, I can't do anything more. You know, maybe if the streaming thing picks up, right? That could count, right? It could be something. I don't know. I've dreamt of like making videos and streaming and stuff for like a super long time. Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, D's pretty great. I'm not talking about that. Don't worry about that. Uh, but yeah, basically, like, yeah, I don't want to. Yeah, it's fine. I don't know. I just thought that whenever I was thinking about like streaming, right? Streaming, recording videos, I just thought, well, that's just as impossible for me. I can't even talk right, And I just like, you know what? I'll try it, not to get big, because that's not. Even if I make that the goal, that's not gonna happen, because I know the numbers, right? It's like what 1% of 1% are successful. I am so I have hubris. I do not have enough hubris to believe that I can possibly be that 1% of 1%. Okay? I am more just hoping that self improvement happens, right? I hope that I improve myself. And also I find that just talking while I'm drawing, it just seems to happen. It helps me, like it helps me focus a lot more, oddly enough, despite the fact that my attention is diverted severely. My attention is diverted towards a lot of talking, but despite that, I'm like able to focus a lot more on the actual drawing, and I don't know why. I think that might be the main reason why I'll be streaming from now on, just because it helps me focus a bit more. maybe it's not the streaming so much as, you know, all of my consciousness is here with me, right? I'm not paying attention to anything else. I'm just entertaining myself somehow or the other. That's essentially it. Yeah, yeah, I know. Making videos for fame and money, that's not even something you can do. Like, at least not something I can do to start off with. Like, fame and money will come eventually if it's successful, but for it to be successful, you can't be like, okay, I'm gonna aim for this right now, because you got to be realistic about this, right? You got to start doing things that are fun and basically just figure out where your fun and the numbers meet, and that's essentially it. Like, I want I want to basically, get some people who are interested in me. Like, my goal is at least to get to, the point where I can open a Discord server and at least have like people who are, you know decently interested in my stuff to a reasonable degree. It's not really for money. I mean, if that happens, that'd be fun, but it's more or less just for, the rest of the aspect. Community, I guess. I never imagined I'd be able to actually do this, just talk and do anything else and actually just not have anything, just not listening to any random nonsense, just working while talking, you know. And I also, whenever I go silent, I just hear the silence and it's just like just soul crushing for a moment. So yeah. Okay, what's going on now? Okay, so sometimes, when you just flip between all the modes, right? Like right now, what's happening? You see, I'm in some random mode. Okay, so if you hit B, you switch between the brushes. So that's how my hotkeys are set up. My hotkeys are set up between the the pen tool, okay, the brush tool. This, whatever this is, the sub tool, pencil and pastel, and this decoration tool. And because of that, if you hit B enough times, you'll just go into the wrong tool. And not just that, if I hit X, I'll swap colors, okay, between the two colors in the palette. But I've hit C, it goes to alpha color, which means transparent, which is the basically the eraser. I can hit E for the actual eraser, but then I have to hit B to come back. If I hit E and I hit E again, it's just staying in eraser because only eraser is bound to E. I hope my art met I hope my art improved since we met. It's been like 3 years, you said. I'm working on drawing every single day. So yeah, I do absolutely hope that I get better and better. That's the main goal of this channel essentially is just self-improvement. But personally, my self-improvement, not the self-improvement of others, because I am not capable of doing that. You know, if it happens, it happens. That'd be cool. But first step is self-improvement for myself. And I'm gonna open a new layer just because I don't want to like draw like here. The hair over here I want to draw is gonna be right over the eyes, and I don't want to have to fiddle with the eyes if I make a mistake. So I'm gonna be following this area over here roughly, and so roughly around here. That's how to best do this bit of hair. Yes, that should be good. Oh yeah, I remember now. We first met on DeviantArt, where you were the first person to comment on any of my stuff. Hmm? And that was in like that was in my old account. And when I started posting that again after college, you were the first person to ever. Was it after college or still in college? I don't remember. Probably after college. You're the first person to actually reply to any of my stuff. And we just started talking, and then we met on Discord. Then after that, because it was just easier to communicate. That was fun. Pretty cool. A friendship over the internet. And the first time you heard me talk was just over some call ages ago. We did one call, that's about it. And then ever since then, you're just listening to me talk now just because I'm doing this, just because I started doing YouTube. I remember you, when we first met, you were the one doing YouTube. Hmm. Mostly gameplay stuff. Like it was entertaining enough when, when the audio was clear enough to hear you. Yeah, wild how life works. I would never have imagined that I would actually be here trying to do YouTube. But it happened. It's just it's just also just a really good like place to just show off some of my art or something, I guess. Uh, the act because I'm going to spend this time anyway, right? This time is going to happen. I'm going to spend time drawing. That is going to happen, and if I can, if I can double up on that time some way or the other, right? So this is, I think it's a lot more productive for me than just normally drawing because if I'm normally drawing, I'm going to be listening to YouTube while I'm drawing, right? So if I'm just doing this, I'm going to be spending the same amount of time. So that's fine, you know? It's just a matter of I'm also like making some content that'll hopefully get someone else entertained. Well, my art to begin with is a form of entertainment, and then there's also my words. My barely comprehensible words, and I need to drink water. I'm gonna take a spit break. It just occurs to me on this headset, there is a button that'll specifically mute the mic. Oh yeah, it's pretty good. Like I did a live stream once, and I managed to carry it. I managed to carry it out for 40 minutes. Just talking to myself, just on a live stream, no other viewers. But here it is pretty good having someone around. Hopefully eventually it'll be a more of a regular occurrence where I'll have a time when I'm always going to live stream, and then that's just you're always going to be at least one person around who's willing to talk. I still don't know like who is that second person. I'm very curious now. Like what's up with that? How is that possible? How is it possible anyone actually even found my video? That's just impossible. I'm refreshing. Did he go? They went. Fair enough. That one person who was around went, disappeared. It might be an echo of when I opened the stream, but it might also just be a person who was watching for a few minutes and like for a while. Not just a few minutes, for like quite a while. And then eventually he realized that nah. That reminds me, I think like things will happen like if you I don't know, if someone likes or subscribes to something, I think then an overlay will show up, but I have no idea. I didn't set anything up. I mean, I logged in and did all the things, the default setup, but it should be fine. Yeah. Well, whatever. I guess the end goal is to get okay at it, to get okay at my art. Uh, and I'm fairly confident I am working on that quite well so far, at least. Uh, I will probably be stopping this live stream soon enough, but I'm hoping to at least get a little bit more done before then. Like specifically, I'll at least focus on getting the form of the body right. Ignore the second art. Oh, ah. I thought that was a euphemism or you just wrote the wrong word or something you're talking about ignore the second viewer, but no. I am still using DeviantArt, but not that one. I don't know if I've shared the other one with you or not, but yeah, I'm not using that one where we met. I'm I have a DeviantArt account that I'm sort of using. I've not used it for a while just because I've not drawn any. It's been a while since I've drawn any art that I want to post over there. I might post this Tia over there when I'm done drawing her. There's some other stuff I'm working on with that account, but you know, things are happening. Don't worry about it too much. I will not share my DeviantArt account right now, and you do not need to worry about it. Maybe in the DMs or something. I'm pretty sure I already have you already have a link. Okay, right. So right now, what's the progress? Let's do a progress update. I'm in the line art stage, which is a fairly boring stage of the art. You know, because all you can do is you can just correct mistakes and you can just spend time drawing. So from this rough, right, which is a pretty rough, we refined it a bit by completely redrawing it, gotten a bit happier with the proportions, and I've started turning it into proper line art. And so far, so good. Let me just double check. Yeah, the basic face shape is more or less correct. So I'm coming back into here. And I'm just gonna be focusing on doing the line art for her form first before I go into any more intricate details. Because I feel like once I at least do the form, that'll be at least enough worth showing, and then I can at least I can post it. Uh, because from there, it's like I don't know if anyone's gonna be interested in just watching me just do the coloring and all of that stuff. You know, because the coloring is we have the general theme coloring of Tia. Tia's almost always had this one particular theme to it. I will say next live stream I do, I'll probably have to have another topic. Like even if I'm drawing Tia or something, I should probably just not start chatting with you about like her backstory and everything, just because that's a lot of people are going to be out of the loop, and I don't know how well you and I can describe this. Especially if you're the one who knows the actual story and you're just in the chat talking. I hope you know I hope that the comment replay is turned on. But to be honest, I didn't get. I don't. I don't. I It might not be turned on, and in which case, whoever's gonna watch this afterwards is going to be very confused, and there's probably not gonna be many people actually gonna watch this afterwards. Oh, I am a great technical genius. Thanks. Okay, let's see. We're making the Under Armour disjointed section over here, but technically, whatever I'm doing over here is a little bit like sort of pseudo impractical armor, but it's more like the plates are there. It's magical. It's not like rigid armor. If it was rigid armor, which there are some people who draw armor like that, like poking out like this. That wouldn't work because when you bend forward, you're just gonna jab it into yourself, and that would hurt. A video call on Discord, you don't even need to do a video. You can just do a regular Discord call. I know how to set up like Discord reactive PNGs, but yeah, isn't it also like just really early for you? I feel it'd be pretty rude just being like, "Hey, it's morning. Hey, good morning. Get on a call with me." You know? Yeah, you don't need to force yourself. Don't worry about that. Maybe one day we'll figure out all the timings and it'll work out however it works out, right? But till then, it's fine. Okay, so Tia's armor is slowly getting there. I said we're only going to do the form outlines and I'm not going to do the details, but I am doing the details regardless because this is just how I operate. I can never do a rough that's just like a stick figure. I actively have to limit myself with the tools I have. It's 11. Oh, okay, that's not too bad. It's a good time in the morning. Yeah, I can never like I have to like limit myself, like actually use a tool where I cannot draw with any amount of detail. And that's the only way I can make a rough that's proper, like an actual rough. Otherwise, all of my roughs are, as you can see here, like fairly detailed. And it's like, it's okay, like, yeah, that makes sense for like the second rough, but not the first rough. This is the reason why the comic's taking so long to make. Uh, it's just because I'm not good at speeding up the process. I'm not very fast. I would love to just draw the comic on stream, but the problem with that is that would just be like complete spoilers and, it's not a good way to experience the comic. Like experience the comic by watching me draw it, you know? That it just feels like that wouldn't be particularly great, and it'd also be like a lot of spoilers because I'm also like I'm trying to be like well in advance of whenever the comic's going to be launching. So that's basically just a lot of problems. The details, what do you oh, me, you're talking about with the art. Well, when I was talking about the form, I meant like the original. That's the line out of just like here, 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 right? That line out to do. Instead, I'm going in here and I'm like doing this line on the inside. Like this part over here also. That's what I meant by focusing on the details. That are the issue. I mean, I you and I are too far divided. Huh? The delay between us is too much that I have lost track of what you're talking about. I cannot recall what I said just 30 seconds ago. My memory is like that of a rabbit. Wait a second. Do rabbits actually have okay memories? Hmm. My memory is like that of a goldfish. A goldfish memory lasts about 6 months. That might be a bit too, bit too generous. My memory is that of a a thing with a bad memory. My analogies are also that on a level of a child. I should have just said child. Hmm. My memories are as bad as a child's. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Okay, so yeah, basically for a comic, I can't really just draw that live on stream just because, you know, the comic that'll come out is like chapter 2 or something, and you're gonna see me drawing chapter 5, and then that's gonna be a heavy spoiler of just like, oh, you can see like far in advance, and I can't just be like, okay, I will only draw it, like I'll record it and then I'll draw it later, because then it's kind of like, oh, I'm recording all this stuff and then what am I recording it for? None of my all my banter would be like very kind of off topic or something, or maybe it would be like very late or something. I don't know what the best way to go about this would be. I'll have to look into it specifically, but I imagine there's some solution the DM could the author could tell me about, maybe. We'll figure it out. It's not super important for right now. I mean, it would be nice just because of how much more concentrated I am on this, you know? Your memory is that of Tia. Wait, she remembers dumb things like me. Your memory is like that of a of a of a 7-year-old or something, 8-year-old, 9-year-old Goliath child suffering from PTSD because she's already almost an adult and is fighting for her life in debt. Now, I think Tia has a lot more memory than me. I think Tia's a lot more mature than me. I think I qualify as the child, not her. Okay, so in the progress of what I'm doing right now, should I go up with the arms first or down with the legs? I think the legs will be easier, so let's do the hands first, the arms. Okay, hold up. Just stretching for a moment, my back. I should sit closer to my. I should sit closer. That's what I'm doing wrong. Why is my posture bad? I'm on a live stream. You can't see me. I don't need to be far enough away. There's no camera. No camera yet. There might be a camera once I don't know. I will eventually switch to a proper VTuber, I imagine, because I'm gonna have to just, improve my, you know, I have this VT. I'm not gonna talk about it too much in too much. I'm not gonna talk about it in too much detail right now. But yeah, uh, don't worry about it. It'll be fine. I really need to upgrade my PNG tuber Starlight. Um, but that'll have to wait just because, what can I do right now? I've got a lot of stuff going on, and I pretty much just made it this limited, like only one, two, three, four, five. I just made it with only five expressions just because I didn't want to like sink too much time into it. I decided to follow the words of Josh Tribe Hayes. If you wanna learn to do something, well, the best method is just start doing it. Right? Just start doing it. And so that's basically what I'm doing. Several months later, I followed his advice. I've just started doing it. I've just set up the PNG tuber, and I'm just here streaming. Well, to be fair, I was starting with videos, and that made a lot more sense for me. I was enjoying doing that, but I tried live stream because I thought, why not? And I'm enjoying it. The characters do reflect the creators, but to an extent, they reflect the creators to an extent. Like sometimes, like they can reflect like the absolute opposite of a creator. A character could be based on like an ideology or thoughts and beliefs that a creator is very much against. But that character could still be very convicted in those thoughts and feelings. You know, that character could still like use all the proper rationale and everything. It's just a matter of they do reflect, but it's kind of like is the mirror warped or not, right? Is it a proper mirror or is it a warped mirror? Because usually it's almost always a warped mirror, and when it's like just a general mirror, when it's just a normal mirror, that doesn't like do any warping or whatnot, it's usually things like just an OC or something like that. Not No, wait, is that right? Self insert. Yeah, that's right. None of my characters are like just specifically like me. I don't think so. Maybe Starlight. Like I want to sound a lot. I want. I don't know why, but I'm pretty excited. I'm like I think I'm happy. think I'm talking pretty happy. But when I listen back to myself, I just sound a bit kind of dull. I'm not entirely sure why. I don't know what's up with that. But yeah, it happens. I do wonder how exactly I'm supposed to increase the number of viewers. Like I do know that it'll eventually rise, but like I think like a super small number is still a large amount. Like from what I've seen, like even fairly big creators will have like 100 people watching or something like that, and that's like a lot, right? Like 16 people watching on like a hundred, like with several hundred subscribers is a huge amount apparently. I just don't understand like how exactly the numbers go up and down or whatnot, right? I think it's more like, you go to Twitch, you'll just end up randomly somewhere. Yeah, so I'm gonna be stopping pretty soon. I'm just trying to get a few more details drawn in. Then at least I'll have enough to work with, and I'll stop and I'll at least like post that and be like, "Yo, I did this in a stream," you know. Although it's probably not as impressive as it sounds because I'm just, I don't know. It is a stream. It's more like a recording. This is not much different from just a recording where you're just messaging me on Discord or something. Especially if I forgot to turn on the chat replay function. If I forgot to turn it on, then it's literally going to be a matter of it's just me talking to myself and you having your messages here. If they even show up, they might not show up. And then it's just going to be a matter of like, who's he talking to, right? And if I don't read out all of your messages out properly, then they're not going to have any context. And I'm not reading them out properly because I'm an idiot. Quack, quack, quack. But yeah, I guess that's what you get, right? That's what you sign up for. Self inserts and Mary Sue's are mostly hated kind of characters. Not every self insert has to be Mary Sue. Like, again, yeah, self inserts are usually hated just because the authors are usually like, well, it's me, right? I want good things to happen to me and stuff like that, right? So there's like, yeah, self inserts are hated just because it's very hard for like a lot of authors to like mm, engage critically, with their own characters. Like, this is me. They have this self interest. They have to use actual introspection when working out like what's wrong with a character if it's a self insert of them. Versus normally, if they write a character, they can be like, this character is supposed to be this, this, and this, and so they can look at like whatever they've written and like, yeah, that makes sense. Oh no, this character's coming off as a bit too clingy or something like that, right? Versus if it's a self insert, then it's a matter of like, well, you've basically entered yourself into the story, and if you don't have enough self introspection, you're not going to be able to figure out exactly how well they're carrying themselves, right? If you write yourself saying all of these things, right, and they end up being like too clingy or just like, and then I said, no, Mr. King, I am the one in charge. Uno reverse card, and then he summoned an army of centaurs. That overwhelmed the king's army 4-1. Right? Like, that's obviously kind of nonsense on its own. Like, you need to like, it's really hard to sell that. But then if it's like your self insert. Are you really going to think that critically about it versus if it's just some random character, you probably wouldn't, you probably think twice, right, about it. But if it's your own self insert, there's like a whole lot more to go into, like the psychology of this self insert, right? Are you actually like, do you actually have a set of rules that they're supposed to follow, or is it just a matter of like whatever you feel like you're writing? Self inserts can be used effectively if it doesn't take away from the main cast. It indeed can. Like, say for example, I'm definitely planning to have self inserts of myself in several things, but more as like a gag bit or just a random minor character. I'm not gonna introduce myself as like, I am the new main character. The rest of the main characters can go screw themselves. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Diamond is Unbreaking. It's a good example of a good self-insert character. Is Diamond is Unbreakable? Is that the name of the character? Okay, I will be honest. I know the only thing I know about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, okay, is I was watching a video, a commentary comms video, where they were playing a pretty rubbish JoJo video game, and the they were ranting about the first arc of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. That is all I know about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Just these random guys just talking about how weird the first arc was while playing a pretty bad video game based on the first arc. Hmm? And that just one person is trying to explain the story to another person who vaguely remembers the story, and that's about it. I don't know anything else. All I know about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is it looks pretty cool. They got style, and there's a character called Jolene, who is Bay. Oh no. Okay, Diamond is Unbreaking is the actual arc. Huh? Okay, I got confused. I know that Diamonds Are Breaking does sound like what would be one of the parts of JoJo, but I didn't have any context for is that the actual character name? Because I would believe you. You know, if you told me there was a character called Diamond is Unbreaking, I did believe you for a moment, actually. Not just for a moment. I believed you thoroughly until you told me otherwise. Huh? So yeah, there's a good example of a self-insert data. Well, one of these days I will read JoJo. You know, one of these days I will actually read JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. One of these days, who knows when? I certainly do. Oh, I certainly don't know when. I just hit my headset with my drawing pen because I forgot it was there. Because I started taking off the headset because I realized if I angle the mic a certain way, you can still hear me clearly, and that works pretty well. Like with the headset on, I can't hear myself, which makes it a bit harder for me to talk to myself. It's on Netflix. Oh yeah, that's pretty cool. Netflix, we have a Crunchyroll subscription. I think the manga is in there. I don't know. Should I ignore the manga or should I read the manga and then just what do you think? Ignore the manga, just go for the anime, or read the manga and then go for the anime? Because there's a ton of anime which I've yet to watch. I want to watch. I just don't have the time. What's your thought? Yeah, okay. So I don't know when your response is gonna come in. If but yeah, progress update on Tia's art. Uh, I'm pretty close to calling it for now. I think my goal is like I'm gonna finish doing the hair and the legs, and I'm gonna say that that's good enough for right now, and I'm gonna stop. Just because how long have I been online? I have to double check again. And go for the manga if you want accuracy, anime if you want to binge. Well, I don't know what that means. Is accuracy important? Well, I I guess I'll look at I guess I'll try looking at the manga first, and we'll see. Okay, let's see. Hmm. I'll do the half first. I'll do the half first, and maybe I'll call it a day after that. How long have I been streaming? Do you know how long I've been streaming so far? I will wait for your reply. Okay, let's see. So for the hair, we got a few more like bubbly things over here going on. The hair's gonna wave out. The more detail waviness over here is kind of floating almost smoky. the inner detail, and he doesn't say. Maybe an hour and a half. Maybe an hour and a half. An hour and a half sounds like a lot of time. Although an hour and a half for the progress I've made is pretty good. I will say this. It would usually take me a lot longer than an hour and a half to get this far. Hmm? Like I would say like maybe at least 3 4 hours, you know, maybe more. An hour and a half is pretty good, especially for me. I'm pretty happy. I might want to stream just to try and get this kind of speed again. Damn. Okay, right. Uh taking a sip of water. I'm muting the mic this time. Let's see how that goes. And I'm back in. Um okay. Just a few more details needed for the hair. Da-da-dun, da-da. I'm feeling especially bad for just taking up so much of your time. Yes, I mean, yeah, having someone to talk to is one thing, but it's also just a matter of, I don't know. I guess stream of consciousness. I can't describe it. It just feels right. By the way, yeah. So I think my mic audio is better than when I first started because I had this ingenious idea. Okay, so I've got this mic. Okay, this headset mic, which for some reason my mom had. It's it's clearly like a gamer headset. Okay, and so she just didn't have any use for it. So I borrowed it to use at one point, and she just gave it to me because well, she's she's got she doesn't use it. It's just too big, too stuffy, or whatever, right? So I've been using this. Yeah, yeah, I've been using this, and I was all like from the get go. You know what? It's nice. The quality is nice, but it's like I don't like the mouth sounds or something like that, right? So that's this kind of stuff you get a pop filter for. Okay. And I was just like, oh my god, I have to get a pop filter. What does that? What does that mean? Do I? And I was like looking on Amazon for what on earth I'm supposed to do. I found like there are some cheap, what's the word? Some cheap microphones were there, which apparently had good audio, but didn't have particularly good like what am I thinking of noise reduction. And that would be quite troublesome because we live right next to a road, a fairly busy road, a main road. So at all times you're gonna hear cars. So what I decided was I went and I basically found like I was looking for the pop filters or whatnot, right? It's like $30 to get like a pack of yeah, I don't know why. It's like $30 to get like a pack of two pop filters for for this headset I'm using right now. And I was just like, whoa, that's a lot of money. I could buy a fairly decent microphone. Like this is I'm saying $30 and all that stuff. Here in India, okay, the currency is worth a bit different. Okay, remember third world country. So I was just like, okay, that's not great. And I was like, okay, I found this mic that's just like 100 rupees or something like that, which is in American dollars. So I don't know what the best comparison is. Like uh, $4, $4, $2. Hold up a second. Yeah, yeah, something around that, I guess, right? So that's pretty close to what it's about. Like, so about like maybe $3. Okay, so I decided, you know what, I'll buy this because I thought, why not? It's really cheap. It should be okay. I bought it. Okay. Uh, it works for my phone and it's a okay mic, okay, but it doesn't. I'm not able to use it on my computer for some reason. It's just not working at all on my computer. Oh man, that's not good. But here's the thing: it has this little pop filter on it. Yeah, noise filter is not no. Noise filter is like the software part of the microphone. A pop filter is like the foam. You know the foam you put on the mics. That's called a pop filter. It specifically removes like the sound. Like when you smack, when you lip smack or something, when you talk, there'll be that, sometimes also there'll be that kind of sound. So a pop filter reduces that stuff, okay? So this $3 mic, it has a pop filter on it, and that pop filter is just slightly bigger than the earphone, than this headset mic. So what I did was, I just have a little bit of a rubber band, and I've just tied that pop filter to this headset mic, and it's working. You know, it seems to work fairly well. I mean, at least amazing for the price. I'll tell you that much. Yeah, like hold up one second. I'll actually double check this. You know, just 100 RS in dollars. Uh okay, I stand corrected. It's like $2, not $3. Yeah. Remember, this is a third world country, okay? Like for like apparently like just a bit more than $1, you can get it. You can eat here. It's not a you can't get an amazing meal, but you can fill your stomach at least. So yeah, basically it was pretty useful. And it's not even to do it yourself. I got the cheapest option, and the cheapest option worked, and I was pleasantly surprised. I was like, yes. Usually the cheapest option doesn't work. That's kind of the moral of Amazon. You don't want the cheapest option, you want the best quality option, because the cheapest option's just gonna let you down. This time the cheapest option did not let me down, which is good. I'm happy about that. Yeah. I'm surprised too. It's like I'm hoping I'm not remembering the pricing wrong, but I don't think I'd completely misremember something that cheap. Okay, well, let's look at. Hold up, I'm just gonna do this one arm left. What? Oh wow, it's getting pretty late here. So I'm just gonna do this one hand left. The left hand, ironically enough, huh? The one hand left is the left hand. And I'm gonna start. Let's see. Da-da-da-da-da-da. No, I feel like when it comes to me just chatting and whatnot, I don't think I have a whole lot of things to chat about. And I feel like drawing is just like, I don't know if it would be something which is actually, a good constant source of material if I'm going into the line art stage, which is, by the time you go into the line art stage, you pretty much just already worked everything out, right? So it's more like the rough stage where everything's still like you can just you have fun, you can just chat about stuff. And then in the line art stage, I'm just surprised I have anything to talk about. And specifically, I don't have a whole lot to talk about related to what I'm actually drawing because I've already talked about it. We've gone over Tia's story. We've said so much. And now all there is left to do is just do the line art, which is, yeah. And I hope you at least understand now, like, just this is kind of like what goes into whenever I make a drawing. You do you do the roughs, okay? The roughs do not take a lot of time to do. They're all pretty fast, pretty simple. And then you go in and you start doing the line art, and it will just take forever, especially compared to the rough. Because with a rough, it's based on exactly how you go about it, it's a lot faster. It's a fast process. you know, because again, it's just rough. It doesn't need to be exact. Versus when you're doing the actual line art, if something you have to take it slow. You can't just like halter skelter. I mean, you can sometimes, but you can't get away with it if you're not paying attention. hmm And here we're pretty close. And let's see. Drill one, drill two, a little bit of this ice cracking over here. Let's work on that. Few more details because you can't just like draw something in, call it a day. You've got to at least add a few more details, just make it look better and make it look right. The line art stage is just about the boring things like construction. You can't come up with new ideas in the line art stage. If you come up with new ideas in the line art stage, it that's cool, but you kind of like just making it take a lot longer. It's amazing learning experience for me because I get to see how you put together our daughter's new clothes. Yeah, fair enough. It's not usually the same process like for everyone, just because Tia's got just so much art of her already, and every art's at least a bit different because it's new form, new style. So when it comes down to it, how are you gonna go about it, right? That's like you know you kind of have a team going on by this point that you got to follow through with. Uh, Otherwise, what usually happens is it's a lot of looking up references of like, okay, right, we're gonna be making this character. What are they going to wear? And you start googling like, okay, I want like this outfit, that outfit. That's how it was when we started. When I started Tia, I had to just Google up like a whole bunch of references. But at this point, I have so many references, and especially since this form is just an amalgamation of uh, you know, all of the previous forms, there's no need to look at anything separate. It just kind of works itself out. And I am working on the leg now, which I said I wouldn't do. I have broken a promise to you and to me, but this is what happens when I'm a filthy liar. I do want to at one point just talk about just my lore, the lore of Starlight, because I have a backstory. I have a full backstory, but it's a matter of how am I going to go about telling all of it, right? The only thing I can think of is I've got to do it while while drawing, while doodling. I've got to doodle my story, but at the same time, that's just going to make me take so long to actually say it. I don't know. Maybe it'll be interesting. And let's draw this line over here. Okay, let's just get. You know what? I'm just gonna really quickly go in here and take this her inner color. Yeah, because the new form isn't just clothes, so I feel like I can play around with the tattoos a little bit. Uh, Not really so much, but just like minor alterations. I never actually realized what exactly these tattoos were. Despite the fact that I'm drawing them, I myself am never sure of do Goliaths just have tattoos or do they get tattoos? Because I'm the dunce. I'm the dullard. I don't actually know the truth. It honestly gotten easier with her. You need to draw new references. I'll be able to find one. Yeah, I mean, like, it's a matter. Hold up. She's got this on her eyes also, right? I'm not imagining that. She's got it on her eyes over here in this one. So I'm gonna have to do that. Yeah, like, there's like a. I do really appreciate how she's come out. Like, she's like definitely gained her very distinctive style, I feel like, over all the years. see, that's all the stuff on her face at least. Okay. Now I've got this one last thing here. I've got to basically detail what could amount to chainmail essentially. Chain scale mail, I guess. Oh, this is not gonna be. This is when it comes to stuff like this. Okay, it's slow and painful because if you screw up, you got to redo a lot. But sometimes, like if you get into the groove, you can make it work, but you just gotta be really careful. You gotta be really, really scared on your toes. At least I do. I don't know how other artists get along with this. I should. They are more birthmarks. Oh, that makes sense. That's kind of how I imagined it would be. Because I didn't. I was just thinking that the tattoos were just more like, they're just part of the Goliath, right? Because I've not seen Goliaths without them. And also the fact that, it does really match in original form the rock that's literally jutting out of her, and that's how I literally drew her. So yeah, the scale mail is so this once this is done. Da, 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 da. I should watch more artists stream. I don't know why, but I've just not done that. I don't know. I guess it's not really appealing to me watching someone else just draw and talk. I don't know. The idea isn't. Like, I can listen to them talk about all sorts of stuff, but just listen to them talk while drawing doesn't appeal to me. But for some reason, it appeals to me when I'm the one doing it. This is, again, once more, that narcissistic side of me. You know? Yeah. Tiny chain scale mill details. Uh, I guess talking about it here doesn't make much sense canonically because, uh, you know, I'm referencing something I talked about in a video I recorded that's not going to go live until tomorrow. But I am at the same time filled with hubris while knowing that it is hubris. I have plenty of hubris despite the fact I know for a fact, yeah, that's all hubris. That's not confidence. You're not being confident in yourself, you're being overconfident. So it's very strange. It's a very weird feeling. Okay. And I'm going to stop the chain meat details here because I'm going to say they kind of just they merge in at this point. See, apparently in lore, the Goliath is the Marcus of Goliath is supposed to predict our fate. Okay, so I shouldn't. Okay, I'm not gonna change this then. She's got two things here, but I guess I'll follow the original pattern itself. Uh, see, delete, add it in here. Okay, this should be right. About like that, roughly. And now I'll come back here to the scale mail. And there's a few more little details you could add in, like for each and every one of them. I'm just gonna be lightly just sketching in, well, not really sketching in, but penning in this one little detail here to make it look more like, there's some depth to it, some detail, right? It's fairly simple stuff, but it will overall just help, probably, I feel like. Yeah, good work. As long as I don't get too nonsensical with it. She looks amazing. Definitely looking a lot older. Well, this is her final form, essentially, isn't it? Huh? That was all that time travel shenanigans and everything, as per a normal D&D adventure. Oh, That reminds me of something else insane I do want to do at one point. Just a D&D game where I am the only player. I'm all the players and the DM. I think that would be insanity. That would be fun to watch and fun to actually do. But I do want to actually get someone who wants to watch that first, like an audience of hopefully more than one, an audience of at least four people. I think that would work. Yeah. Okay, hold up. Now let me hide the roughs and well, look at that. This is our progress so far. I'm pretty happy in what happened right now. When it comes to the roughs, the one thing missing now is here, here. So just this, and the wings. So half of one leg, half of another leg, and then the knees. That's what's missing. Which I think honestly is a pretty good place to let it off for now, right? What do you think? I think we should. I think this is where I should call, you know, an end. Call it a day. My OBS right there. I don't actually have a screen. I don't actually have a screen to go to when I'm calling it an end. So I guess all I have to do is just look at the art. So anyway, thanks so much for being here while I was here for the stream drawing Tia. This is probably the end of the stream, and I had a lot of fun. I'll probably do something similar later. Bye bye. Where's the button to stop stream? There we go. Hopefully this works. Bye bye.